person was involved in an argument and he broke some furniture, does forgiveness for that person relieve him or her from their responsibilities financially, socially? Let's find out. I am Nidal Hamwi. In this episode of Overcoming Emotionally, we aim to re-relate through sound relational lenses. We have defined an offense as a trespass that causes pain, causes damage, causes devaluation. And we did mention too that forgiveness also is relational. And forgiveness consists of continually honoring and respecting the offender and taking responsibility. Today we will examine the anatomy of forgiveness through the four relational lenses. My friends, my beloved, first, through the bonding lens, we respond during the forgiveness by not abandoning the relationship with the offender. My friends, most of the people who offend you are close people. Could be family members, could be spouses, your son, your daughter, your uncle. Those are really close people. We should not rush to abandon the relationship with those people because we experienced an offense. I am not inviting you to open yourself for repeated offenses because that's a different story where you have to tighten your boundaries against the offender. But do not rush to abandon the relationship. That's number one. Number two, through the distinctness lens, we understand the responsibility lines. Some of the responsibility we bear, other responsibilities the offender bears. Our responsibility, my responsibility is my thoughts, my feelings of pain, my feelings of sadness and anger and shame. Those are mine because they fall within my own boundaries. The offender on his or her end, they're responsible for distorted ways of thinking, for their emotional outburst, for forgiveness for the other offenses they have experienced earlier in their lives. My friends, the people who were offended, they were hurt, they were injured before and had not healed are the ones who tend to offend others. Be one of those who will not repeat the cycle of offense by forgiving. I am responsible for my thoughts and feelings, the offender responsible for his. I was present with the offender. I shared with them time. I shared with them maybe a business partnership. I was in some way, shape, or form present. I gave my consent. I listened. I interacted. That made me responsible for my part. My friends, there is a third part of the responsibility. When destruction for the property happened, there are sometimes civil consequences. My forgiveness towards someone who offended me. It's a spiritual, it's an emotional, it's a personal, brave decision that does not relieve the offender from their own consequences towards society. They may have suffered suspension from work, civil penalties, financial penalties, service for the community, that kind of stuff. So our forgiveness to the offender does not relieve them from their responsibility towards society and law. Number three, through the integration lens, we do not split the offender into all good or all bad. We understand that the offender has a good side and negative side. They are not reconciled together, and the offender who still wears a mask, not integrated enough, offend others in his or her pursuit for the addictions, for the secret habits and relationships they have. So even though we experience the offense from their dark side, they still have another side. They could be caring people for their families, for their children, for their loved ones. They're not all evil. We feel sympathy for them because they are overburdened with fear of being exposed, and they're wearing masks for years and years. They're exhausted under those secret things they're hiding. We extend grace for people like that in the hope of them taking responsibility for their flaws and reconciling and becoming integrated. And finally, through the levelness lens, we understand the offender is equal to us. He or she has their own equal rights to be respected, to be loved. They have their legitimate needs, and they are completely justified in seeking to pursue those needs, but they have to do it responsibly and lovingly. I hope you found this video helpful. Stay awesome, stay related, and follow me.